Time on the track.
Me to get on one of their records when they was Double Vision.
Right. Before they got to No Limit.
Right. We on the West Bank at Carlos Studio. Because I
Gretna.
think
Carlos Stevens.
did the which he was a Beats by the Pound member. Like he was one of the first ones.
Right,
you know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the twins and I'm sitting next to P and I'm saying they don't have no hard twins in the industry, period. Look at them. And he's scoping them out, you know, they was there with their people, and I was like, and they cute, the girls would like them. And he like, I don't really know about them cute, but,
Yeah.
I can't co-sign that one.
Can't co-sign that one.
he knowing they got something though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He knowing they got something, and then he chopping it up with them, and Kane and Abel is at the label. They were at the label before Mac and Fiend.
Right,
you know? So yeah, what I was grateful for was I live in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans, and P had been gone for so long. He really did trust me to say, go listen to them and go holler at them to assemble the team that made hip-hop history.
Right.
Because prior to that, you know, he had artists from California, and TRU wasn't just him, Silk, and C. It was a few
group
people.
of other people.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, and
We
they
never heard of them then.
So was you the first
California
lady, or did they have a girl before
No,
you?
because before me, P's wife, SONYA C, was doing rhymes with them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, SONYA C even have a tape out.
Wow,
By the time
I never
I
knew
got
that.
there, yeah, like SONYA C is 91, 92, 93 with P and them. By the time I got to No Limit, they had 3 kids. And she put more of her focus into being the backbone, his wife and the mother.
Real shit.
And so I came in and was
The spitter.
a lady, the lady rapper. And then, you know, we ended up, it was 7 girls at No Limit, you know.
Oh, so when toward the
Towards the end, right when No
Limit I had
blew up.
Mercedes and
Mercedes, Miss Peaches, Erica Fox was also a singer. Alexis was from the West Coast.
The red lady.
And then the girls, the twins, 2 for 1. But they came like later, like after Unladylike and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, for the beginning of No Limit, it was TRU, Master P, SONYA C.
And you say Serve was already up there when you went too, huh?
No,
Serve.
we all caught the plane together.
Serve too?
Yeah, because Serve, you know, he from the Third Ward.
Right.
So it was Serve, KL, me, and Magnolia Slim. We caught the plane to No Limit during that Christmas of '94. We caught the plane, and you know, Serve and P, they were friends. I think since they were younger, they played basketball. They had a friendship, a relationship already established. I was the odd man out because I didn't know anybody, and I was the only person on No Limit from downtown till Mr. Magic came.
Right. From the 7 and the 9.
Yeah.
Right. When like the females rapping today, like what's the biggest difference from when you was rapping and spitting lyrical than the females coming out today? Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj.
Megan and Nicki is definitely spitters, though. You know, they spitters. But, you know, like with time...
Sexy Red, Glorilla.
So the thing is, with time, things change. For instance, MEANA, we are first generation Bounce.
Right.
Bounce was different. Bounce was gangster.
Gangster, right.
And
and
Bounce... So now the DJ has a lot to do with like how records are formatted. You know, meaning like the DJ know how to loop their voices.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up, so we had to beat all of that.
Right.
There was no such thing as you could just leave the studio and come back and the DJ then formatted
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, we didn't record. It was analog. It was tapes. Like you really had to one take it. You know what I'm saying? All that punching in and all that. That was like
there was no such thing.
You know, people was trying to do it, but it wasn't. You know, they'd be like, "Do it again." Do it again. Like you had to like you say how you like to rap.
Right.
I won't go from beginning to end.
Right, mess up, you got to start all over.
I got to start all over.
Yeah,
Well, that's how it
I'm
was.
saying-
That's where we come from. That part of it. Yeah.
So, but then even the sound, because if you remember, with our first music, hip hop was still relatively new, so a lot of things that we rhymed against was old school instrumentals, even bounce.
Right.
So now the cadence, the way they ride the beat, the way the beat sound is different from how we started. And what I like to do is give everybody an opportunity to get in their lane and run their lap. So the music that we have now is their lane and it's their lap that they running. And they talking about what mattered to them. Like we talked about what mattered to us. You know, when I was a bounce rapper, like Bras was really about taking care of their children. And we was on like a level of, see, I need to get me a house.
Right.
And I'm going to keep me a job. Because I worked at Peaches Tillin' Lady like went gold.
Right.
We just felt a different way. But time has changed so much. Fashion has changed so much. People talk about different things. People have a different mindset. You know, and as drugs infiltrated the community and guns and violence, it changed our mindset. We team no feelings now. And you hear that in the music.
Right.
Whereas we
Team
had
no
bad
feelings.
things going on. You know, I remember the 405 murders in New Orleans. I remember that.
Right.
But circumstances was still different.
94.
You know? Yes. 1994 was off the chain. But circumstances was still different. People still felt like, nah, you ain't going to kill him in front of his mama. Nah,
Right.
his mama and his grandma and them, they not about to get hit with no strays.
Right.
It was a little different. And so since the mindset changed, the music changed. Because we talk about what we experience. You know, like NWA opened the door for us to feel comfortable about talking about names we called people that was addicted. You know, it was strawberries and raspberries. They opened the door for us to identify with that gun is a Uzi. I remember when all them guns hit the streets of New Orleans. I remember when it went from somebody having a 38. I remember when the guns really was... And so I remember when the music got even more violent for us. And when we started disassociating for how we really supposed to treat each other. So where we at now is just a product of the way life has progressed.
So
That's deep, bro.
older people like yourself, it's not right to talk about the music that's out right now. Like music, like the people saying music is messing up the youth and all that. So you saying a person shouldn't be like that because we once did that ourselves.
Well, I know I did it.
So would you be a person? Because it's still like I'm older and I'm mature. So if I did it or not, I still got to tell you the right.
Yeah, now let me tell you, I have absolutely no problem with saying that sound reckless, and I promise you, when you hit 40, you're gonna feel totally different. But instead of just condemning in a self-righteous way, I have to self-reflect. You know, I have to self-reflect that I said niggas ain't worth the blood on your Kotex. I have to self-reflect with the things that I've said. And I have to try to empathize with how some of these kids grew up. I remember when crack cocaine hit the community, and I remember parents who was together, who had jobs, who had clean houses. I remember seeing them fall off and start selling stuff out their house. I remember when the children was hungry and my mama and grandma would feed them. I remember them going from being loved and sheltered to being disregarded. And so we have a whole bunch of kids that was disregarded who then had kids.
Right.
And the cycle put us in this position of where the music at, because we imitate our atmosphere, children and people. So if all you came up with was a house full of dope fiends, you really ain't gonna care about nobody all the time.
real shit.
Sometimes you for the better and you be on the straight and narrow, arrow path. But then other times kids be like, ain't nobody give a fuck about my mama, I don't give a fuck about their mama.
Right.